Now, Chris, when you said meet me for lunch, I didn't think I'd end up in the middle of Parramatta River.
Yeah, well, we're going to try and catch lunch today.
Catch lunch?
Well, we're going to try.
What are we catching?
We're looking for burras.
Barra. What's barra?
It's a Darug word for eel.
Oh, right.
It's where the river gets its name from and the place itself. So Parramatta means place of the eels.
Right. Oh, I think I've seen one over here. I think I got a log.
I think you did.
So, Chris, tell me another way to catch eels.
Well,
Chris describes himself as an artist and teacher. He's a proud Darug man and he knows heaps of stuff like where to get a meal so fresh it's still squirming.
eels like to shelter in the hollow log.
Darug people have been enjoying great local food in Parramatta for 60,000 years.
And you're done.
And you're done.
Bush tucker can still be found right in the heart of the city. And Chris is just the person to help me find it.
So, Chris, this is kind of like the supermarket or convenience store for Darug people?
You could say that. There's a lot of food around if you know where to look. This here's lamandra. They're a very hardy plant. It's spiky mat-rush too.
Right.
See all these spikes on here?
Yes, yeah, thorns popping out everywhere.
When it gets older, they come out of these seed pods in there. Each pod's got about 2 grains in them. They're very small, so you need lots of them. If you get enough of those, they get crushed up. They'll mix them with honey and ant larvae sometimes. Make a paste and cook them on the coals. It's flatbread that you can take with you for weeks.
From the Darug to the very first white settlers, baffled and beguiled in this new land. The new folks set out to make this place as much like the place they came from. Governor Arthur Phillip set a challenge for new settlers to come to Parramatta and grow their own food to see if they can sustain themselves in the new colony.
In 1789, Australia was one gigantic experiment, and this place was the scene of Australia's first experiment farm. Now, people back then had to be creative, so they named this place Experiment Farm. If new settlers could make it here, then they could make it anywhere, and they were granted their own patch of land to run their own farming experiment. It was kind of like MasterChef, but for farming. Sadly, a tradition that no longer happens today. Oh, mulberries. Rosalind, what kind of stuff did people grow out in Parramatta?
There were things like wheat, barley, a little bit of oats, but then also vegetables, things like cabbage and potatoes.
If you don't mind me saying so, it sounds like it's a very carb-heavy diet. I don't know if you could get away with that today.
Probably not, no.
Tell me, were people sent to Parramatta because they were convicts?
Well, they came out here originally because when the colonial settlers first landed in Sydney Cove, they found that the soils were too sandy and they couldn't grow the crops that they had with them.
Yeah.
So they came out looking for better soil and landscape that was familiar to them. So when they came out to Parramatta, they thought, you know, great, this is a perfect place for farming. But one of the things that they weren't aware of was that the land looked like that because it had been managed by the local Indigenous people.
I love that you could be stealing a loaf of bread and then be made to make a loaf of bread. And were convicts working in perpetuity for the colony?
No, so if you were able to serve out your sentence, you could then be gifted a plot of land, which would then allow you to set up your own farmstead and be your own independent farmer.
That's such a great deal. Steal something, get some land.
Yes, well, the land that they were gifting wasn't being given with consultation to the local Indigenous people,
Sure.
so it probably wasn't the most clear-cut of agreements.
Food is just one of the biggest draw cards of Parramatta today. From the South Asian hub of Harris Park to farmers markets and Parramatta CBD's Eat Street.
You can get any kind of food here. Asian, Middle Eastern, South Asian, African, Cuban. You can even get Scottish food. Amazing. So what's the best thing about food in Parramatta?
People come over here because they're getting like of each and every culture's food.
Name it, you have everything.
This is as authentic as it gets, as far as I'm concerned.
Hey! Hey, Chris.
Hey, well, look, I've found a perfect place to get some burra.
Eel.
Yep.
Let's go.
And here we are.
Oh,
Some of the best burra in Parramatta.
fantastic. I'm going to call this one Jared Hayne and that one Fatty Gordon.
Maybe we swap. I'm a bit of a Jared fan. To the mighty eels.
To the mighty eels.